All right, everyone, welcome. India is down 1-0 in the series, so this next match is a must-win. Today, we're firing up the Kerala AI to crack the code for their T20 showdown against Australia at Bellarive Oval, a notoriously tricky ground.
Okay, so let's just dive right into this, because this isn't just about who's in form or who has more talent. The AI's entire analysis starts with a single massive puzzle that both teams have to solve: the venue itself. You see, Hobart has a very specific personality, a set of rules, and if you don't play by its rules, you are going to lose. The AI's analysis, it all starts with one single, overwhelming number that pretty much dictates everything else we're going to talk about: 76%. So, what does that actually mean? That's the win rate for teams that chase a target in Hobart. Think about that. This is not just a trend. It's a huge structural advantage that's literally baked into the conditions of the ground. It's so powerful, in fact, that the Kurlan AI actually has a specific name for this whole phenomenon. And this all builds into what the AI calls the venue supremacy doctrine. It's the single most important rule for this match, and it is brutally simple.
So this doctrine, it's the foundation for our entire analysis. You win the toss, you bowl first. Period. There's really no other data-supported way to win here. And the reason for this becomes crystal clear when you look at how the pitch conditions actually change from the first innings to the second.
Okay, this grid is fascinating, seriously. So green means it's a +1 advantage for the bowler. Red is a -1 disadvantage. In the first innings, you can see that back of length and slow balls are pretty helpful for the bowlers. But just look at the massive shift in the second innings. Pace and finger spin, they become way less effective. They turn red. It gets much easier to bat. And at the same time, wrist spin completely flips from a red disadvantage to a huge green advantage. This grid right here, this is the why behind that 76% win rate.
So here's the crucial point. Despite this data being crystal clear, the Kurlan AI's analysis shows that both teams' predicted starting lineups, they're just fundamentally flawed. They are not built to take advantage of the venue supremacy doctrine.
And this slide just illustrates the two very different problems the AI found perfectly. India is basically planning to bring a weapon that's useless if they bowl first, which makes them really inefficient. Australia, on the other hand, is just tactically incomplete. They are missing the exact weapon they would need to defend a total if they have to bowl second.
So this leads us to the AI's logical next step. It doesn't just point out the flaws, it actually corrects them. It recommends some very specific tactical upgrades to get both teams in line with the data-driven reality of playing in Hobart.
For India, the solution is a really decisive 2-for-2 swap. So first, remember that red grid for wrist spin in the first innings? Well, that totally neutralizes Kuldeep Yadav. This is a bowler with a Kerala skill rating, or KS rating, of 10, and anything over 8 is considered elite. He's a completely wasted asset if India bowls first. Second, Shivam Dubey is just a poor chaser. So the AI swaps them for Arshdeep Singh, a left-arm pacer who gives them a new angle, and Rinku Singh, who is a specialist finisher.
And the impact of just one part of this swap is massive. Just look at this comparison for batting in the death overs. You go from Shivam Dubey's -1 rating all the way to Rinku Singh's huge +2. In a tight chase, which we know this venue encourages, that 3-point swing, well, that's potentially match-winning right there.
Now, for Australia, the upgrade is a bit simpler, but it is just as critical. The AI sees their predicted team is missing a wrist spinner. Remember that green square on the grid for the second innings? That is the key to defending a total. So swapping out the redundant spinner Kuhnemann for the specialist wrist spinner Tanvir Sangha isn't just a good idea. The AI says it is the only logical move they can make. Okay, so with these new optimized teams, the AI can finally run the simulation. From this point on, we're assuming both captains make these logical changes. The question now becomes, who is actually better equipped to execute that bowl-first strategy?
Let's play out the worst-case scenario for India. They lose the toss and have to bat first. The AI immediately flags several vulnerabilities. The helpful pitch conditions for back-of-a-length bowling, or BOL, create a very bad matchup for Tilak Varma, and a critical -3 rating for Akshar Patel. Yeah, this would be a really tough innings for them.
However, Australia's situation, it's even worse. India's new optimized attack is perfectly suited to exploit this pitch. That same back-of-a-length bowling creates critical -3 matchups for both Tim David and Marcus Stoinis. India is simply better equipped to bowl first in these conditions.
Now, for the ideal scenario, you win the toss. You're chasing. For India, the AI's plan is pretty nuanced. It says they should play it safe against Australia's best back-of-a-length bowlers, Bartlett and Abbott, but it identifies Nathan Ellis as a weak link they should attack. The main goal here is to manage the threats and set up the chase for their finishers.
Australia's chase, on the other hand, runs into a massive wall. Even with the pitch getting better for batting, that back-of-a-length ball is still a huge weapon for India. David and Stoinis, they are still critically vulnerable with a -3 rating. And on top of all that, India has Varun Chakravarthi, a wrist spinner who's now bowling on a helpful green-rated pitch. It's just a tactical nightmare for Australia.
So, after simulating both of these scenarios with the upgraded teams, the AI takes all this matchup data and synthesizes it into its final quantitative scorecard to figure out a winner. And according to Protocol 18 of the AI's analysis, the entire match just boils down to this one question. Both teams know they need to win the toss and bowl. The real question is, which team is actually built to do it better?
Well, the Kurulon AI yardstick makes the answer pretty darn clear. The optimized Indian team has a higher quality batting average and a significantly better bowling average. I mean, look at that, 7.22 compared to Australia's 5.3. They also have better batting variety, and while Australia has slightly more bowling depth, India just wins on the really crucial metrics of raw quality.
So the final analysis is absolutely unequivocal. Once you optimize both teams, India's roster is simply a better fit for the unique challenge that this venue presents. They're better equipped to bowl first, they're better equipped to chase, and that gives them a clear, data-driven advantage. Of course, the AI is giving us the highest probability outcome based on all the historical data, but sport always has its variables, right? What if the groundsman decides to prepare a flat, high-scoring pitch just to entertain the crowd, completely defying the venue's history? The team that adapts quickest on the day can still come out on top. The data gives us the blueprint, but at the end of the day, the players still have to execute it.